Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2024 movie titled Argylle. Please be advised that there might be spoilers ahead. In the opening scene, an undercover agent named Argylle invites Lagrange, a stunning woman, to a dance. As they dance and exchange glances, many armed men and women surround them at Lagrange's signal. Lagrange appears to know Argylle's identity and is simply playing along. After ordering for his assassination, Argylle contacts his partner Kira for aid. Kira quickly ignites the smoke, allowing Argylle to flee from those around him. Lagrange unexpectedly showers them with gunfire as the two flee, wounding Kira. Argylle tries to assist her, but their commander orders him to pursue Lagrange, as they will send a doctor for Kira. He gets a club car and follows Lagrange. He pursues Lagrange until she repeatedly hits his car, causing it to break down. Lagrange manages to flee, so Argylle contacts another agent, Wyatt, who is drinking coffee at a nearby cafe. He notifies Wyatt that Lagrange will pass by his location, forcing Wyatt to put down his coffee and quickly grab Lagrange from her motorbike with just one hand. All the three at the cafe, the two interrogated Lagrange. Upon examining her mobile phone, they uncover that she is an assassin, dispatched by their commander to assassinate Argylle. Stunned by the discovery, Lagrange removes a fluid from her necklace and places it on her tongue, causing her to die shortly thereafter. When they discover their commander's true intentions, the two dispose of their communication gadget in the coffee. The scene shifts to Ellie Conway, the acclaimed novelist, who wrote these chapters in her novel titled Argylle. Because of her popularity, a large number of reporters and fans attended her press conference, questioning her about her personal life and future plans for her novels. Following the press presentation, Ellie immediately resumed writing the following chapters of her novel. Ruth, her mother, called unexpectedly while she was at work. They had a video call, and Ruth asked about her novel. Ruth offered criticism on certain aspects of her work, which Ellie ultimately had to accept. The following day, while on the train, she noticed a man approaching her. He asked if the seat in front of her was available, but Ellie said it wasn't even when it was. The man exited, but shortly another one showed up. Aidan abruptly sat down in front of her. She tried to inform him that the seat was already taken, but he refused to listen. He casually placed his bags in the overhead compartment and sat in front of her. Ellie saw him pull out the book she had written and read it in front of her. A few moments later, Aidan spotted Ellie on the book cover and started up a discussion. He revealed that he was one of her fans and followed each of her book series. While Aidan was speaking, a fan approached Ellie and requested her autograph. It turned out, however, that the man was an assassin who attempted to assassinate Ellie with a pen containing a sharp needle. When Aidan noticed this, he instantly intervened and engaged in a close-quarters battle with the aggressor, identifying himself as an agent in disguise. All of the passengers appeared to be attempting to kill Ellie. As Aidan fought, she kept seeing Argylle in her head. Ellie attempted to flee, believing Aidan was an enemy, but he followed her and protected her from assailants. Despite Aidan's efforts, Ellie continued to disbelieve him. While fleeing, Ellie came across an Asian assassin who attempted to attack her. Aidan placed her in a cubicle, where she observed his confrontation with two ladies. Ellie's vivid imagination enabled her to recognize Argylle and Aidan during the fight. Aidan finally gained Ellie's trust, and she joined him. Fortunately, they were able to jump out of the moving train with a parachute and escaped safely. The series of incidents led to Ellie fainting. Moments later, Ellie awoke on a couch inside a house. A man entered and introduced himself as Aidan. Ellie didn't identify him at first because he'd shaved his beard and cropped his hair. Aidan swiftly reminded Ellie of who he was and described the recent occurrences. He informed her that the Division, a powerful syndicate organization, was targeting her because she appeared to anticipate their destiny. To back up his accusations, he showed Ellie that Carlos and his guys were looking inside her house for something. Meanwhile, at the enemy's camp, the mastermind, Director Ritter, chastised his men for failing to kill Ellie. Out of frustration, he loaded his shotgun and killed one of his men who had led the operation. Aidan expressed a desire to change their location, so they decided to travel by car. Aiden sneezed multiple times inside the car due to his cat allergy. Aiden also explained to Ellie the motivations of those hunting them. A hacker named Bakunin gathered information about the division and compiled it into a master file on a USB drive that resembled a silver bullet. The division killed Bakunin with the intention of destroying the evidence. Upon discovering the silver bullet in Ellie's book, they pursued her, convinced she was involved. Ellie and Aiden boarded a private plane after a short drive. Inside the private plane, Ellie was visibly terrified and anxious. Aiden consoled her and helped her calm down. After a long journey, they landed in London from Colorado. When they arrived, they discussed their next steps. Aiden indicated that they needed to find the master key first before they exposed the division. At Ritter's headquarters, one of the hackers quickly found photographs of Ellie. When Ritter found out, he directed his hackers to find Aiden's exact position. Thinking they were safe, Ellie resumed Argylle's story. With Wyatt present, Argylle entered the car. Argylle and Wyatt attempted to access the communication gadget that Leah had given them. They found a data-encrypted chip inside. Knowing Aiden was an agent, Ellie inquired about data encryption. Aiden used the laptop and helped her comprehend it. When Ellie was thinking about a certain location for the novel, she suddenly remembered an address, which she put in her story. Surprisingly, Aiden chose to visit the address Ellie described. Ritter discovered their specific position using CCTV images and swiftly dispatched his men to retrieve the drive and kill them. The two arrived at a standing hotel address and entered one of its rooms. Aiden's lockpicking skills allowed them to unlock the locked room. Ellie immediately noticed that she had been in that room before, and the wall appeared to be a false cover. Aiden wasn't sure, but after a while, they discovered a hidden passage in the floor. When they opened it, they discovered a steel bag holding money, a notebook, and a boat key. Ellie hurriedly took the notepad, thinking it might reveal information concerning the master key's whereabouts. While they were talking, Ritter's men arrived in a black van, loaded with weapons and explosives. The secret passage concealed the two from their knowledge. When the armed guys noticed they had left, one of them quickly reported to Ritter. They were preparing to depart when Ellie's cat suddenly started meowing. Aiden's only option was to engage in combat with them before they could overpower them. Aiden used his combat expertise to eliminate the armed men, one by one. One of them attempted to retreat, but Aiden shot him. Shortly after, Aiden handed Ellie a flash grenade as he glanced at the group with a spoon. When he saw them approaching, he showed Ellie how to crash the opponents after he takes them down, similar to a dance routine. He then hurled a flash grenade at the armed men, taking advantage of the circumstances. While Ellie struggled to crush a lying man, Aiden knocked down the others. One of them was still awake, so Aiden demonstrated to Ellie how to crush his head. Soon after, Ritter's reinforcements came. They had no choice but to use the fire exit leading to the building's rooftop. Aiden promptly barricaded the door, which caused Ellie to be afraid. Aiden noticed a velvety surface on the roof. When he spotted it, he instantly told Ellie that they would jump on it. When he noticed Ellie's hesitation, he grabbed her cat from behind and dropped it. Without incident, the cat landed securely on the soft surface. Ritter's men were about to enter, so they had no choice but to execute an Assassin's Creed maneuver. The two plunged from the building onto the floating soft surface, landing safely and promptly boarding a boat to flee. Later that day, they went into a motel and spent the night. Ellie spoke to herself while in the bathroom. She began to hallucinate again, seeing Argylle rather than her reflection. After that, she exited the restroom, and Aiden entered. Ellie's cat accidentally opened the bathroom door, and she overheard Aiden speaking. When she heard him report to a spy agency, she became worried and decided to flee quietly. Meanwhile, in Chicago, a stranger approached Ruth's door. He informed her that she had a call and handed her the phone. On the other end, Ellie informed her mother of her whereabouts and what had transpired. Ruth instantly booked a trip and traveled to London. In a motel, she greeted her daughter with an embrace. During their conversation, the doorbell rang. Ellie, anxious about the recent happenings, attempted to prevent Ruth from opening it. However, it was too late, and Ritter arrived at the door dressed casually. When Ellie saw him, instead of being terrified, she appeared relieved and addressed Ritter as her father. Ellie proceeded to recount the events, mentioning the clandestine organization that Aiden was affiliated with. Ruth's reaction indicated a lack of trust in Ellie's story. When Ellie mentioned the notepad they discovered hidden beneath the floor, Ritter swiftly removed it from the bag and read its contents. Ritter smiled as he read the text. He proceeded to look for possible clues to the master key's location, acting concerned about Ellie's account. Aiden burst through the door, brandishing a gun and holding Ritter prisoner, inciting alarm in Ruth and Ellie. Aiden then threatened Ritter to expose his true identity, eventually exposing himself and shocking Ellie. When Ruth heard this, she pulled out her gun and pointed it at Ellie. Fortunately, Aiden promptly shot her, knocking Ritter out. Ellie, still horrified by the turn of events, inquired as to why Aiden had shot her mother. Aiden comforted Ellie and reminded her that they were not her biological parents. The two escaped quickly, and when they arrived downstairs, Ellie stopped. Aiden assured her that he was speaking the truth. Ellie grieved in the car upon discovering the truth, as she had grown attached to the individuals she mistakenly believed to be her parents. She was surprised to learn that Director Ritter and Ruth were both members of the organization. Aiden did not reveal everything at once, recognizing how difficult it would be for Ellie to comprehend such knowledge. Director Ritter and Ruth had duped Ellie into believing she was their daughter. Ellie couldn't understand why somebody would do such a thing, and she was really bewildered. The following morning, they arrived at a remote spot where Alfred Solomon, also known as Alfie, an ex-CIA operative, greeted them. He was a character in Ellie's book, and she was pleased to meet him in person. Alfie showed Ellie around his farm and house. On one side, he opened a concealed door behind a wall to show his office. Alfie used the chance to tell Ellie that she was a CIA director who is now in retirement. He displayed her picture on the monitor, along with information on her true name, Agent Rachel Kyle. Unable to accept it, Ellie confronted Aiden, convinced that Alfie had deceived her. Aiden, on the other hand, held firm in his support of Alfie's revelations and highlighted their correctness. Aiden punched Ellie, who was still in shock. She deflected Aiden's strike subconsciously, unable to understand her own actions. Aiden continued to attack her until she finally defeated him. Using Ellie's sophisticated glasses, they began reviewing the contents of the recorded book at Director Ritter's headquarters. Meanwhile, Aiden kept revealing everything. He gave Ellie pictures and revealed the genuine identities of the people she thought were her parents. He stated that she was one of the top CIA spies, but after an accident and a coma, the division duped her into thinking she was a writer. They used visual cues to reactivate her memories, preventing her from fully understanding her true identity. Their plan worked, leading to the creation of 4 books that helped the division stay ahead. Aiden also revealed pictures of them together, including Kira. He said that the individuals and incidents Ellie described in her book were real because they were memories from her previous missions as an agent. Ellie gradually grasped the truth and eventually believed Aiden. Alfie unexpectedly interrupts them with a shout. Inside the office, Alfie discovers that Bakunin sent the master key to Saba al-Badr. They promptly embarked on the journey to find Saba and travel to Arabia. A rigorous screening process precedes their admission. Upon discovering their lack of weapons, the authorities allowed them entry into a party, where they disguised themselves by donning exquisite clothing. At the party, they both dance to blend in with the crowd. While they dance, a mystery woman watches from above. Caught up in the moment, they dance passionately and slowly, almost kissing. A high-ranking guard interrupts them, informing Ellie that his supervisor, Saba, wishes to speak with her. Saba recognizes her and speaks with her for a while. Saba eventually gives her the silver bullet, and while inside the room, Ellie investigates the contents and discovers something that raises her concerns. She walks straight to Aiden, and just as she's ready to tell him what she discovered, Ruth and the division agents arrive. She offers them drinks, but Aiden swaps drinks with Ruth, who sips first. She speaks with the two and says that Ellie once worked for the division and was one of their most skilled assassins. Ellie got her hands on the flash drive and was surprised to see her name there. Gradually, as her memories resurface, she comes to understand that she was the one who killed Buchanan. After hearing all of this, Aiden attempts to confront Ruth, but the sedatives take effect, and Ruth, Aiden, and Ellie pass out. Moments afterward, Ellie awakens and notices Ritter burning the silver bullet in the fireplace. Ritter begins brainwashing her again, instructing her to get Aiden to betray Alfie's location. Ellie approaches Aiden, who is in the throes of a beating, and tries to communicate with him. However, Aiden makes Ellie recall their memories together. Ellie shoots Aiden in the chest and quickly loses consciousness. Ellie begins to side with the division's directors and attempts to track down Alfie using the tracking device they discovered Aiden was wearing. Ellie successfully pinpoints Alfie's location, much to the delight of the two directors. They had no idea that everything was going just as Ellie had planned. In actuality, Ellie is attempting to deliver the contents of the master key to Alfie, but it fails because of authorization required. When Ritter notices this, he attempts to attack Ellie, but she is too strong, knocking the two directors down. She runs away from the building with her cat. Remarkably, upon his release, Aiden regains consciousness and defeats the guards. He then provides self-care and recovers from the bullet wound. While Ellie is in the armory, Aiden enters and first misidentifies her as foes. However, he relaxes as Ellie recounts what happened. Ellie informs him that Kira sustained a gunshot wound to the heart during an assignment, but the vascular corridor miraculously preserved her life. She goes on to say that it's the same approach she used on him when she shot him in front. Directing the bullet at a specific angle allows it to bypass the heart and pass through the vascular corridor, causing no injury to the heart. Finally, the two reconcile and rejoin their team. A fight breaks out with the division agents. Gunshots hit the gas, filling the area. They extinguish the fire to keep the place from getting ablaze. They pushed Ellie to the brink, contemplating skating with knives below her sneakers. Ellie systematically defeated the division agents, one by one. Ellie's motions in the gas were so rapid that she appeared to attack the division agents like a tornado. Carlos challenged her in combat, but Ellie's expert techniques proved too much for him, and she defeated him. Despite the fact that there were just a few agents left, Ellie circled around and properly shot them all. Ritter, frustrated by the agents' failures, descended to murder them. With his shotgun, he attempted to shoot Ellie. However, Ellie's cat attacked Ritter like a tiger, and Aiden shot him to death. Ellie finally started the upload. The division was determined to prevent her from transmitting the file to Alfie, and they were willing to go to any lengths to accomplish this goal. So Ruth hypnotized Ellie and turned her against Aiden. Ellie knew she was probably not the woman she imagined herself to be. She had a darker side, and it was gradually returning. Aiden, on the other hand, wanted Ellie to believe that, while she had done some awful things in the past, she was a decent person. He wanted her conscience to prevail, even though he knew it would be a difficult effort. Finally, when Ellie turned on Aiden, he gave up because he could not fight her. Ellie found herself hypnotized and hesitant about her behavior. Ruth was playing a song that moved her and made her forget who she was. Ellie was on the verge of killing Aiden with the same method he had learned from him. Fortunately, Kira, a comrade who had worked with her on previous missions, knocked Ruth down. The music stopped, and Ellie regained consciousness. Ellie and Aiden uploaded the file to the interface, and Alfie downloaded it. Ellie and Aiden kissed, and the three of them escaped on a speedboat. Despite the division's exposure, the people were unaware that the frightened writer had led the mission and saved the world. Ellie finished her 5th novel, and the readers adored it. Alfie, Kira, and Aiden attended the press briefing. In the final scene, one of her followers in a yellow shirt poses a question. Ellie's face lit up with surprise when she recognized the fan as Argylle, recognizing him as a real person. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.